about what I'm learning about diaphragmatic breathing, what it is, and a few ways to help it click for you. So first things first, what is diaphragmatic breathing? Well, it is taking a breath in and letting it go front to back of your ribs, side to side of your ribs, and top to bottom. A lot of us, myself included, we tend to breathe all right up here, so that just like that shallow breathing pattern. And when we do that, it can not only be detrimental for your stress levels, but it also causes you to lose connectivity to your core, because your core is very tied to how your diaphragm is working. A lot of us tend to be the shallow breathers, or some of us, we just breathe from our belly. We've thought that diaphragmatic breathing is belly breathing, so we just breathe through our belly. This is problematic for a couple of reasons, one of which, it causes the muscles in our back to get really tight, because think about it, if we're supposed to be going top to bottom, side to side, back to back, we're only going out the front. And that means that these muscles in the back of your ribs, the fascia there can get really tight, and then you can have issues with mobility in your back and back pain. So not cool, just breathe through your belly. But you wanna have that balance of breathing front to back, side to side, top to bottom. Also, if you have diastasis recti, or you've had a baby where the fascia in the front of your rectus abdominis splits, you will want to be extra careful to not just belly breathe, because if you belly breathe right there, it's putting pressure on that vulnerable linea alba that's still healing. So very important. It's also important for your pelvic floor, because the pelvic floor actually contracts on the exhale. So on the inhale, your diaphragm expands and your pelvic floor relaxes, and on your exhale, the pelvic floor draws up and contracts. So think about it. If you're only ever doing little short breaths and exhales, you're mostly exhaling. You're not really taking a deep breath. The primary movement of the breathing is the exhale. Those muscles are going to get shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter, and they're not going to be allowed to have the release and then the contraction if they're only contract, contract, contract. So you say, yes, I know, Margaret, it's important to breathe top to bottom, side to side, back to front. How do we do it? Well, one simple way that you can do it right now is you can take your thumbs, put your thumbs at the back of those ribs, lace your hands around to the front. Now, I want you to just take a normal breath. Don't think about doing anything fancy, but I want you to notice what you feel. So go ahead. Now, do you notice your shoulders coming up? You can do this in the mirror. This really is helpful in the mirror. Do you notice your shoulders coming up? Do you not feel any expansion right here? Do you feel like that it's just staying stuck in one position? Do you not feel any movement in this back part of your ribs when you do this? Those are all signs that you could be breathing in shallow breathing pattern. You want to think to expand those to the side, because to get that lateral movement, that's going to force the air in the back of your lungs, where we tend to get really tight and we tend to get back pain. So having this here can really help you and to see how you're doing with your breathing. Another thing is noticing if your ribs are flaring out. This is something I didn't realize, until a couple months ago, but if you really arch out and your ribs are flared, they're not going to ever get that nice inhale and exhale, and the muscles that go there are not going to contract to bring them back in place. So if you've ever had a baby, your ribs tend to flare out, and then you can't get that full inhale and full exhale because the ribs are flaring out. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and this has helped you kind of become aware of maybe what diaphragmatic breathing is. Next time, I'm gonna have you a couple of little stretches that you can try to help you get the air expanding into the back of your ribs and to help you get a proper breathing pattern. So I hope you enjoyed this. Feel free to comment below. I'd love to hear your experience with this. If you had any ahas from this, do this throughout the day. Put your hands there and notice what you're feeling. Do you feel any expansion back here? Do you feel any movement from side to side? Are your shoulders going up to your ears? Try it this week. I'd love to hear your experience.